Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Here we go. Your dial is set correctly to USAPrepares.com. And we broadcast 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. If you'd like to call us, 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. John is engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. I'm Vincent Finelli. Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us. Good morning, Rick.
He's back. Like Poltergeist. Well, that's the laugh I like. And this time this morning, you did two little giggle. So that's a good day.
Well,
yeah,
you know,
got me.
Rick, I am so fortunate. Some people might say so blessed as to have very good, wonderful friends, very close friends, and I just love being with my friends, and I know our class loves being with you too. So, you know, how can you not be happy, right?
Well, and you know, Laura, others from your show that I've met in your different events was there in Hollywood. It was very cool to see her again. For a brief moment, I looked at her and I didn't play her, and then I got her. And, you know, she was there, several others. You remember Laura, right?
Absolutely. Laura.
Go ahead.
She's the one with what?
She's the one with the girl, the very precocious child that came that was bright, and, you know, at our last conference together.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I met.
Yeah, she lives in Los Angeles or something, and she came up. It was very cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew she was
cool
going to attend.
To see several other friends of mine. Chris Marcus came in from Phoenix. His music is exceptional. Carrie Cassidy and her boyfriend Neil took me to birthday dinner when Julie and I first got there. We went to Yamashiro's, which is up on top of a mountain overlooking Hollywood. It was incredible. We didn't get drunk, but we had a couple of drinks, and the evening went on, the lights came on, and it was just like in the movies. It was fun. Then later, one of the couples that were taking the workshop took me and Julie and Grace to the Magic Castle. Now, that was so cool, too. The Magic Castle is this big, huge, old, something out of Doctor Strange in the middle of New York, where he has this big single dwelling thing, you know, it's 20 stories or whatever. And I think the reservations are like 3 to 5 weeks out. And we decided Friday night that I would like to go there if it's possible. And this lawyer, the Hollywood lawyer that was taking the workshop, I think he's Chinese, he went and somehow knew the right people, and they had a cancellation at the last moment for 6 people. Now, that's impossible, and we got it. And so here we are in the Magic Castle. $35 just to get inside the house. Right up before you even started, $40 a plate up. Oh, and our special tonight is lobster 16 ounce Now, you know, I couldn't afford that. And the magic tricks. They're all running around doing magic tricks. And on stage, the ones they were doing on stage, I was able to figure out half of how they did it even before they finished. And I had my OTO signal on. The owner came up. He looked at my butt and he says, "You're not a member here, are you?" And I said, "No, I'm belong to a different magic club." His eyes glazed over. "Well, have a nice day." You know, he had no clue. And here I am, the grandson of Arthur Miller, the magician that taught Houdini. And he got it. And then I wanted to talk to, do you have any scholars here so you can get a measure on who I am? And he didn't. But I noted that when I was walking through his shirt and tie, Grace bought me this very cool black shirt and tie, black tie. And I looked like something out of Marvel Comics. It was very cool. And everybody's seeing me on my lapel. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. That means I qualify for membership. But I had the OTO signal, which is magic with a K. And when some of the magicians wanted to know what the difference is, the way I would respond is, "Well, you're sleight of hand, and I'm sleight of mind." You know, some of the magicians wanted to get it. Most of them were not prepared for my knowledge base. And really, it's so fluffy. Is that the right word? You know, that nobody gets it yet. They will. My response, by the way, to why I went into the occult was that when I came out of graduate school, the first thing that happened to me, right out of the gate when I started working for Boeing, is I got rushed. That's the right term, like Greeks and sororities. I got rushed for Bohemian Club, the Grove, Bohemian Grove, and the Skull and Bones, others. And I had to, like Christianity, armor up to protect myself. And I hope everybody gets exactly what I'm trying to say, because right now, as far as I can tell about Christianity, it is lining up with charismatics and losing the full intent of what Christianity truly was about. Thank God I have someone like Grace Thorne with me that is, well, she's a Seventh-day Adventist, and she gets it. She's solid. She's praying for my soul. She just smiled, touched me. You know, but I'll be up there to greet her and let her in the pearly gates. Trust me, man.
You know, Rick, you mentioned Skull and Bones, and George W. Bush, past president of the
they're all
United
part
States.
of the club.
Yeah, and he was asked about that.
Donald Trump is a fear for most because he doesn't play by their rules. He plays by his "you're fired" rules, which, by the way, is just as stupid, just for the record. And it scares me to realize that Hillary Clinton, the two candidates we get to choose from, should be executed. The last person that did what she did was put to death for a spy. And now that's your first choice. The other one is this guy whose wig is on sideways and is breaking our constitutional laws with every statement he says when he opens his mouth. Now, who am I going to vote for?
When you talk about him, he's the guy who is against GMO labeling so that we can make informed choices. I'm paraphrasing, he feels that people who are against the food sciences, the new food sciences, the manipulation of genetics, we are anti-science zealots. That guy should not be president. You're talking about Cruz, right? That guy shouldn't be president. So what are you going to do? Vote
for Hillary Clinton that's a traitor? And by the way, her husband is the worst criminal out of Arkansas. Nobody ever mentions that. And if she's elected, she will appoint him head of the UN, and now we're really in for it. So who are you going to vote for?
Well, I cannot vote for someone who wants to keep me in the dark about food choices. And I look around, Rick, and I see cancers increasing at an increasing rate. I'm very serious. I'm getting phone calls of friends, loved ones, instructors, spouses, cancer everywhere. And
I'll tell
I
you
look
what
at
I
this.
know. I had some friends that are in deep, in the know situations contacting me and saying there is a high likelihood our elections won't happen this year. Why? Watch what happens in August. And that's what I'm being told. It's going to be in August. Now, I don't know, and I have no clue, but I can tell you one thing. Something massive is affecting our sun right now. And that's across the board with earthquakes, volcanoes, and the coronal mass ejections from the sun that is normally quiet. Further, something is affecting all of the planets, and the Earth itself is expanding. That is what's causing most of our problem. And the news part that is not being said is that for every volcano that's in the news, there's 9 of them that went off underwater. That is what's heating up our Earth, the sea.
Well, that's another thing that we know is happening. The sea level the sea levels are rising all around the globe. And it looks like
actually happening. One metaphor, the way to look at this, they are boiling the frog, and we are being terraformed in front of our eyes and not making notice of it, just like the frog in boiling water.
Well, what I read this morning, yesterday, weeks ago, months ago, even years ago, was that the sea levels are rising. And
well, that's because the Antarctica and Iceland and Greenland are all melting. The water coming off Iceland and Greenland right now is unprecedented. And when I say that, that's the global warming thing that they talk about. And to say that we're just going through cycles, never in any recorded except the end of various epochs with ice ages have we ever seen anything with this kind of global change going on right in front of our eyes. And with the geoengineering going on, with Fukushima raining, radiation, do you know the only thing that lives in that kind of an environment is what they call black goo? And that's
where did we learn about black goo? We learned about black oil on the X-Files, right, Rick?
What's that? Listen, man, I've never heard of black goo before, but this
black oil.
It's a type of life form that is thriving at Chernobyl and Fukushima right now. It's thriving.
Dr. Richard Allen Miller is with us. I'm Vin Finelli. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Need a powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens? Allicin Med is the powerful universal pathogen killer's latest advance of German-sourced allicin, enzymatically stabilized to clear the body of bacteria, fungi, mycobacteria, and parasites. It penetrates body biofilms and is non-toxic to tissues. Pathogen resistance cannot develop for long-term body-optimized wellness. Clear stealth pathogens that promote autoimmune disease, cancer, and vascular inflammation and plaque and promote healing of tissues. Now pathogen-free. With 200 milligrams more power than prior Alamed, you can't get a more powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens. Give your body what it needs. Allicin Med. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. That's 1-888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. And listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical.com, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, Katie Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KATIE. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to katiearmor.com. Come and take it.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us. Rick, we learned about the black oil on the X-Files, years and years ago. Do you think that was a hint at this black goo that you're now talking about?
I'm going to say that there's a whole bunch of weird things going on that I don't think are real, but are distractions like Antarctica and Kirill and all the rest of these Bilderberger people and the artifact that NASA found that got sent to Antarctica. You all know what I'm talking about. It's in the different black newses out there. All of that is horseshit. And when I say that, it's not real. It's a distraction to make you not notice things that are important to notice. For example, how's that war going on with ISIS for more cash flow for the wealthy? Where are the wealthy right now? Why is it they're all deciding to go on vacation and spend their vacation together down in South America? What's that about? It's all distraction. It's probably none of it's totally real. But I can tell you that the ultra wealthy that have a better access to what's really going on than I do are bugging out. Not bugging in. They're bugging out. They're moving south of the equator. What does that mean? And why are they all doing it simultaneously?
Rick, I'm getting a lot of calls and talking off air with instructors and others about leaving the United States. There are many people who just have had it. They're concerned about losing their property, their accumulations, their possessions, their rights, their freedoms. They've had it. They've had it with Barry and his regime. They've had it with the Bush regime. They've had it with the Clinton regime. And they see no alternative. Actually, the only thing that they think might save us is Donald Trump. And the reason is because he is not a player.
Scary, creepy person. He's not what you think he is. And to get to his level of incomes means he's got something else that's not right going on.
The reason that a lot of people would support him is because he's not part of the machine. The Republicans can't stand him. The Republicans are afraid that he is not controllable.
Well,
you look at all the other candidates.
Examine your words on they're afraid of him because he's not controllable.
Right.
You mean Obama is? What?
Well, sure. Don't you think?
Okay,
Don't you think
now you're
Obama
getting
says,
the
"Listen"?
logic. Will you start connecting those dots like you just said? What's that really mean? And Trump has already broken laws on our Constitution and his values about immigration and about GMOs and about, when you run it down, he's not controllable, but he's still part of the problem.
When I think about Barry,
that combination.
When I think about Barry, I think they call him and say, "Look, Barry, you got to show up. We're having a meeting." And he goes, "Oh, come on, guys, can't I just play a little more? There's a couple more golf courses I haven't been to. There are a couple more countries I haven't taken the family on these junkets to. Look, I'd really like to. Do I have to go to the meeting?" And then he sits there. He's probably bored, and he's thinking about basketball. He's thinking about golf. He's thinking about playing. I mean, I can just see this guy saying, "All right, look, I'll do it, but can I play then? Then can I go out and play?" I think he's like that. I really do.
When all the Romans are watching gladiators and Nero is playing his fiddle.
That's exactly what I was thinking about in the shower today as I was thinking about Barry. And I was thinking about the United States of America. And we're going down the drain. We literally are. And he's
watching football while the presidential candidates are nuts.
And well, I've never heard the kind of statements and discussion that these guys are making. They're bringing their wives into it. Cruz his wife is talking about, they're running. I thought we were just voting for like one guy, the president. No, actually it's a team. And that started with the Clintons, the Clinton team, where she became more important in her own mind than she should have been. Boy, we're really in a mess. Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us. And
Hillary has broken such laws in espionage that the last woman that did what she did, they executed her 10 years ago.
The smart way to buy emergency
We're right back.
storage is calories per dollar. Ready Supply Foods sells you 50% more food for your money. GMO-free, 25-year shelf life, great tasting, and free shipping. You need 2,000 calories per day under ideal conditions. Most 30-day kits don't have enough calories to sustain you for more than a week. They just don't have enough nutrition to do the job. See the comparisons for yourself at ReadySupplyFoods.com. We're the new leader in value and quality. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com today.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Hey everyone, with 20 plus years as a radio host, I've seen about everything. One thing that keeps recurring though are these timeshare charlatans. These high pressure salespeople who get folks to come out to some resort for a special weekend offer. Then they get them in a corner and browbeat them and coerce them into buying a timeshare they don't need, they don't want, and they can't afford. And then they're stuck with that thing forever. Monthly payments, mortgage payments, annual fees that keep going up and up. Well, up until recently, people thought they couldn't get rid of these things. You can't get out of the contract, you can't get out of the deed or the membership. Well, that's not true. My friends at American Consumer Credit, a timeshare release company, can get you free. That's their personal guarantee. 12 years in business, free consultation, A+ rating with the BBB, they're the real deal. You want to get out of your timeshare contract? Call them now. 800-587-EXIT. That's 800-587-3948. 800-587-EXIT. Call now, 800-587-3948.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180. Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us. Rick, so you were in the city of Hollywood, California, and you were teaching a seminar about... Yeah. So here's my question. You were teaching people about surviving off the grid for 30 days. When you looked at your students and interacted with them, and they shared with you, their thoughts, how many as a percentage would you say would be able to survive 30 days with the grid not being available? No grid, 30-day survival. What was your take on it? What was their take on their survivability?
It's no longer about knowledge base. It's about attitude. And most people need an adjustment. They rely too much on thinking, and they do not realize that all answers to everything lies inside you, not out. It isn't how to make a pup tent or what bug you can eat in the woods or where you can drink your water and start your fire. It's more about the attitude. Let me give you an example. In the remote survival thing, one guy he takes his shoe and takes it off and takes the shoelace out so he can use the shoelace to take two sticks and hold them together tight enough that when he rubs them back and forth, they start a fire. Now, he started doing that. It took him 2.5 hours of rubbing the stick back and forth, rubbing the stick back and forth, rubbing the stick back and forth, and he's ready to walk away. And the guy in the survival tent that's the expert said, continue pushing until you're exhausted. Do not give up. Keep doing it. And the guy bitched and complained, and then he still did it, and guess what happened? After 3 hours, the fire started. and he survived. It's not giving up. It's not about your knowledge base and skills. You need to practice all of it so that you have the idea that it's possible. Because once you know that if I continue doing this, at some point it will happen correctly, that's what the caveman learned. And that's what made a caveman into, what are we now? Ignorant, ill-informed, and complacent. It's giving up because you're so used to having somebody else do it. And that somebody else is just like you fixing a leak under your sink. If the leak continues, you keep working on it until the leak stops, and that's that. You don't give up and just let it drip for the rest of the life, because then you've got black mold, which, by the way, is similar to black slime mold, and which is different than black goo. And it goes downhill from there. Attitude. And that is possibly the single most important reason why 3 times as many people showed up for the Sunday show, because that's what they all need, is to realize that all the answers are not a knowledge base. They lie within your gut of knowing yourself and where you will not give up. One guy that failed in remote survival was because he had claustrophobia, and he could not, after he built his shelter, climb into it underground to stay warm. And so at 1 o'clock in the morning, he was freezing and they had to come in and rescue him because his idea of allowing claustrophobia to take over. This is the reason we're facing challenges, because we need to change. That's what it's all about. Rick, attitude is what will save you in the end, not your toys and bullets.
A reporter asked Thomas Alva Edison how it felt to fail 1,000 times, during the creation of the light bulb. And Edison said, "I didn't fail 1,000 times. It was an invention with 1,000 steps."
That's
correct
attitude. Way of looking at your glass being half full and or half fixed. If things don't work out in the end, it means that it is not yet the end. There it is, attitude.
And I'm thinking about young people today, how many of them who are walking around looking down at their cell phones would spend the time and have the endurance to go through those 1,000 steps of inventing the light bulb.
I'll tell you,
I don't think
bathroom thing I have on my bathroom says, nothing is more than unrewarded genius, and persistence rules the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about genius and knowledge. It's about persistence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in Silicon Valley, they say success equals enthusiasm, innovation, and persistence.
Those are the key words.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that I see with our instructors, the faculty here, that they're passionate, they're enthusiastic, and they're persistent. They just don't want to give up.
The passion part is where your cavitation ball of the past changes as your timelines, specific timelines, are telling you to stay with it at the moment. And it's the moment is where passion lies, where, you're so caught up, it becomes what psychology calls sacred time. It's not about how long it took.
Rick, do you think after meeting your meetup and seminar class that they're better prepared to go forward to survive 30 days or more? Because I think if we have a grid down situation, it's not 30 days, it's going to be years.
Well, it'll be, you can look at what happened on the East Coast when, what was that hurricane that that hit New Jersey. There are places in New Jersey that 3 years later, they still don't have power.
There are places that have had water problems for a really, really long time. Yeah, a grid down situation is pretty darn serious because just think about the traffic lights that don't work. Do you think that people are going to be polite, say, no, you go first? No. And a traffic light?
I can tell you that the driving in California is a whole lot different than the driving in Oregon. And how can anybody live like that at any money?
Yeah, I lived in California for about 18 months, and that was all I could take, and that was in the 80s. And you're 5 lanes of traffic all going the same direction at least, and you're bumper to bumper, side to side, 70 miles an hour. I mean, it is really, really dangerous. I don't know how
dangerous. It's suicidal. I have saw things happen in California. I have never, in my 72 years of being in New York City and Berlin and wherever, I've never seen anything like L.A. in the way they drive there. I've never seen anything like that. Julie, my girlfriend, said, "Wait till you say, there's no words for it." She was right. I've never.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you say it's a me first city, California, Los Angeles?
I'll say it this way. With 10% more aggression, those are the ones that make it. 10% more aggression. That doesn't mean that they're intelligent. That means they're aggressive. And other people let them do it. And in Seattle, where I grew up, which is different than Oregon, up in Seattle, we had rush hour with the Boeing Company. Even in the early 50s, we had rush hour. And so over the years, there was a understanding of rules that you flowed with the traffic coming into you, and that if you were selfish where you're not going to let somebody in where the car ahead of you did and the car behind you did, what happens next in Seattle is that some vigilante decides to stop that nonsense so it doesn't happen again anywhere. And that happened over the years to the point where Seattle driving, even though it's crazy, is nothing like L.A. I could tell an L.A. driver in Oregon by the way they're driving, how long they've been in Oregon. I mean, it's that bad. I can say, oh, you're 1 month from L.A., and you're 1 year from L.A., oh, and you're 3 years from L.A. Yeah, 3 years in L.A., they start to simmer down, but you can still tell that difference.
Well, I really try to stay out of cities.
If you had a single hit on a joint, that was bad enough to just take the edge off to that 10% that's going to jam you out.
I had a question about. I was making breakfast this morning, and we have a gas stove, as you know. It's powered by propane. And I was wondering, does it make a difference? I was making some steel-cut oatmeal. Joey likes steel-cut oatmeal. Miles does. I do. Dr. Shealy does. Do you think that cooking something like oatmeal, or let's say simmering spaghetti sauce, where it's cooking for, let's say 20, 30 minutes, is affected by the type of heat you use? For example, electric stove with the cal rod elements, induction cooking, gas cooking, and microwave cooking.
Structuring of water. Microwave starts on the inside out. Boiling starts on the outside in. They both destructure the water, but which one gets destructured more? Now, microwave is inside out. There it is.
Are you concerned about cooking from the inside out?
That's why you take a long time to make spaghetti sauce, because it's the love put into it that restructures it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So do you have concerns about cooking slowly from the outside in? Yeah,
at least you're heating it up, you're destructuring, but it's way less invasive in the destructure than inside.
Hold that thought. I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. If you want to raise the next generation of Patriot leaders, take a look at Freedom Project Academy, a Judeo-Christian online school for kindergarten through high school. No Common Core teaching methods or high-stakes testing. Freedom Project Academy is government-free, doesn't accept any government funding, and is a fully accredited private school. All classes are taught live online with real teachers across the country. Open enrollment runs March through July, but classes fill up quickly. Check them out at fpeusa.org. That's fpeusa.org.
Hey guys, Pat Matthews here to tell you about the newest and best way to sell products online. It's buysellmakeoffer.com, an enormously revolutionary way to sell your stuff online. It's time to clean out the garage, your old golf clubs, sports equipment, tools, and yes, even your car. Forget about the way the other guys have taken more than their share from you when the sales were finalized. Look, it's happened to me over and over and over. Then I found buysellmakeoffer.com. They will never charge you item fees. Just go there right now to sign up and load all your stuff to our server to sell. This is not an auction site. Sell your car, sell your home. Realtor, sign up now. Just use our resources along with Skype and videos, then add your creativity to sell your items quickly and with no fees. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and sign up. The excitement is building. I've signed up to sell my stuff with buysellmakeoffer.com. You should too. Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Mineral Doctor. You've heard me talk about 90 for Life for years. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 fatty acids. You may not know this, that I've actually designed Arthrodex for animals. That's right. Your pets need 90 for Life too. Get this essential pet product by calling 877-279-9422. That's 877-279-9422. Again, 877-279-9422.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpillett.com.
Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us. Rick, you were talking about the heating of food on the stove versus heating food in the microwave oven, as it's less destructive to heat the food from the outside in, which would be on the stovetop, either a gas flame or electric, versus heating it from the inside out, which would be microwaving, correct?
Yep. That's it. You want, when you heat anything, you're destructing the memory in that water. No problem. There's reasons why you want to do that. One of which is bacteria. Bringing something to a boil so that it's dead. That is like cooking meat. That's why you cook it. You don't eat it raw. And same thing with water, etc. But when you microwave, what you're doing is destructing from the center of the water molecule, and it goes outward. That means it heats up in 2 minutes, not 10.
Did we lose Rick? Okay.
It's a more efficient way of
all right,
eating.
then here's.
Yeah, and we're always
Here's
in a
the next
hurry.
question.
And
Then.
you get what you get when you're in a hurry.
Yeah. Yeah. And so here's the next question. So how many of us go to takeout? You get Chinese food, and it's in a plastic styrofoam type tray with a lid on it. And are you concerned about the food that's heated absorbing the plastic in styrofoam cups, like coffee cups, hot coffee in styrofoam?
What you want to
are you
do,
concerned
and
about?
this is what I'm now learning, is that I have two favorite Chinese restaurants here in the town I live in. I like to go here and I like to go there. But the reason I go there is the food is fresher because they have a larger trade. The only reason I go to the other place is because they make a better Singapore sling. And because of that, but their food doesn't rotate as much, which means it's old and has been reheated with microwave quick, whereas in a restaurant that has a lot of volume going through it, it means the food is fresher and has not been reheated. It means they are going through the food. And that means they have to cook it and serve it. Boom, boom, boom. Just like that. It's always very cool when they bring the food out to you cooking, like they do in some Thai restaurants. That is your best food by, what is it, 3 to 20%. And you can taste the 20% difference. 3% you don't, there's an edge. All of that at some point at the age of 72 adds up to me being an old man now. and that's how it works. And to be mindful of how your food's being prepared is as important as the food you're eating. It's all important. And all of it has an effect as a whole on how it all ends at the end of the day. And microwave ovens are very convenient, just like Mopar. It represents a different direction in lifestyle. You're in a hurry, and you don't think about your food as much as you want to quick do it. The problem is when you sit over the stove and simmer your spaghetti sauce, oh, solo mio, that's structuring with love and intent. And that is part of your internal landscape and the way you relate to everything. It's subtle.
One of my, and spaghetti sauce tastes so much better. John Statmiller, you know him. He's been to our house, and he said, spaghetti sauce, you cook it slowly for a long time, and it makes it so much better. And that's what my grandmother did as well.
The food gets better. The love. The love of preparing it. The
Rick,
love of making it. The love of having to stop and take time to do something.
When we come back, I'd like to, we're going to top of the hour news and commercial announcements. I'd like to talk to you about, what happens when you reheat your food in styrofoam or plastic cups, or, is there a concern there? I try not to do that. I try to use a pot and a pan on the gas stove when I reheat. Let's talk about that when we come back, and also about some of these airplane designs where they're not really able to be seen too well with the radar. Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us. I'm Vince Finelli. This is USAPrepares.com. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
For the most amazing, calming, brain-stabilizing, blood sugar, and natural addiction-breaking formula, try CalMind. Anxiety melts, panic is gone, sleep is restful, and you'll stay calm during stress. Better than booze, mind-altering drugs, or anti-anxiety, antidepressant, toxic medications, CalMind lubricates your mind so you'll sail through the day effortlessly. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com and listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us.
Vincent, let me ask you something. What do you think about my concept of slowing down and taking more time in the preparation of your food like you did with the family, where you sit around the table and you're together? And that's no longer happening because of microwave ovens like cell phones. They take you away from people. They do not bring you closer to people. It is a need for a lifestyle change that will save your behind. What do you think of that?
Well, I am I'll tell you exactly how I feel about that. It'll take a couple minutes to do it, but if you remember when you were here at the farm, Aaron Dakins, her husband Brad Dakins, Grace.
By the way, I really miss Aaron Dakins, kiddo. You need to call me. I miss your silliness. No, let her know that I said that formally on the air. I miss her.
Yeah. We had Ed from User Site. He was here. So Matt Stein, there were a whole bunch of us, Mrs. Finelli, and we had, we were around, you were there, we were around the kitchen table and we're eating and laughing and having a great time, and nobody was in a hurry. Okay?
Yeah,
even though it was,
we were off the clock.
Right. Even though it was expo time, even though there were a lot of things happening, and it was, pretty busy during the day.
Early. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we had, we took our time, we prepared, we discussed, We laughed, and we talked about all kinds of important issues as well. That is what we do here at the farm. I've decided that I've absolutely had it with cell phones. I've had it with interruptions. I've had it with texts. I've had it with in these interruptions in my life. And I thought several years ago, what happened to the family? Now, when we were raising our children back in Virginia, we had a television, and this all ties together. Well, our daughter would say, "But Dad, it's my favorite program." And I'd say, "Well, all right, you can watch television for one program. That's a half an hour." Well, that bled into, well, they're actually an hour long, and then the other two children said, "Well, what about us? We have favorite programs too." So a half hour bled to an hour, bled to times 3, so that's 3 hours. And they said, "Well, it's this is the best part," and it became longer and longer, and so finally I walked over to where the cable, the RG59 cable the coaxial cable came out of the wall, and I got a pair of diagonal cutters, and I pulled it tight, and I snipped off the cable, and the end jumped into the wall. And our daughter said, "That's going to be hard to fix." And I said, "You're right. It's going to take a long time to fix that." And that was the end of television at our house. That was many, many years ago. And then what happened was the house became quiet. There were no more favorite programs that bled through dinner and lunch and whenever. So the house was quiet. Reading took over. And our children went to the library every couple of days at least. They read every single book. Literally, I'm not exaggerating, in our small library in our little hamlet in Virginia, they read every book even a couple of times. They became voracious readers. They were homeschooled. Our daughter ended up going to college at age 14. She graduated with her master's at 19 because she was very skilled at reading and could read very quickly. So what we did was we literally took back our lives from the media, literally. And, then the cell phones crept into our lives, and I'd had it with the cell phones. And, what happens when we eat today? If you go to a restaurant, everyone has his cell phone out of his or her pocket. It's on the table, and they're looking down while they're eating. They're looking down at their cell phone more than they're communicating with the person across the table.
To see if something important happened or not.
Yeah. Let's see if they got that text that said, so what are you doing? I don't know. What are you doing? I don't know. What are you doing? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. I mean, that's the kind of nonsense that goes on. And so we have literally taken back, starting years ago, many, many years ago, our lives. And so we do cook meals slowly. We do eat the meals together. And and we use that time for planning and discussing. We really do. And we write notes. If someone's going to the store, they just don't take off and leave and we just, where did so-and-so go? That doesn't happen. What happens is someone will say, next time someone goes to the store, we'll need to get this. And then the list gets created, okay? And while you're there, can you go to the next store and get that? And why don't you also check the price of this, and we'll decide whether we're going to order it online or not. So there's actually this discussion about what we need, what we should do, the priorities, who's going to do what, who's going to be the lead person to do it, who is going to be responsible for the quality control. A lot of times it's Dad, I'd like to work on this, but I sure could use your help, guidance, and maybe some oversight. And then, I'll get that person started. I'll be doing my thing, and I might need some help. But so we actually act as a traditional family of the 1950s.
Yeah, handing the baton to each other to make the race happen.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And if someone isn't able to be at their, we'll call it a workstation. It's not really a workstation, but if someone, let's say it's time for a meal, or it's time to check on my mother and, make sure that, she's okay out in the garden. If I don't do it, our son will do it. If he doesn't do it, my wife will do it. And no one will say, hey, it's not my job. That never happens. We don't hear the words, "It's not my job." It's everybody's job. Everybody has everybody else's job. And since you mentioned this, on Monday, I took my mom to her checkup appointment at the doctor's office. And I don't go it's not just my mom and me, or it's not just Mrs. Finelli and my mom. It's always two people plus the person going to the doctor's. And here's why. It takes 3 people to go to a doctor's office in our house. Whoever's going, plus 2 more. And the reason is that there'll be 2 people hearing what the doctor has to say, 2 people hearing what the plan is, 2 people knowing what is necessary and what needs to be done, if anything. And the doctor said to me...
Yeah, that's because everyone hears something different.
Mm-hmm. And the doctor said something that, I saw... I've seen nurses do this, but this was the first time I saw the doctor do it. He looked at my mom, and she was on the exam table sitting down, and he said to her, and he looked at her, and then he looked at me and my son, and he said, "Are they taking care of you?" It's like, you gotta be kidding, right? Are they treating you well? Are they treating you well? Do you have any concerns? He's asking her, if indirectly and directly, if we are abusing my mom. And when he was all done asking her the questions, I made sure she answered them to his satisfaction. I said, she really has it pretty good. I said, we're farmers. We're at home. Someone's always at home. We cook meals together. We eat meals together. I said, the only way it would be better is if we had servants. I said, but actually, we'll never have servants because we wouldn't want to do that to people. We wouldn't want them to be our servants. And I said, actually, I don't think that's even true. I said, because servants wouldn't give my mom the care that we would give her because we love my mom and she's family. She's blood relative. She's a blood relative. So because of all that, it doesn't get any better than what she has. This is it. She couldn't do any better.
And your mom is a reflection of who you've become.
Well, that's probably true. And I was thinking about, and I was in the shower. Well, thank you, Rick. I was in the shower this morning, and I was in the shower this morning, and I was thinking about organized religion, and I was thinking what a con that could be. Going to church and feeling you absolutely positively have to be there certain days, certain times, tithe certain amounts, and if you miss, oh man, you're going to hell, and it's going to be bad. Well, I was thinking, what a con that is. What a con that is, okay? And then I was thinking, my mom hasn't been to church in probably 5 years. 5 years. And has that changed her? No. Does she still want to help people? Yes. Does she still want to give them her coats, her shoes, her clothes? She wants to give away, clothes that she's not using to people who might need them. Has she changed at all by not going to church? No. So do I think that by not going to church that she might not get that seat in heaven? I think she's doing just fine. And I think in terms of the camaraderie, the fellowship churches provide, before church, after church, turning around, saying hi to the guy behind you or in front of you. Yeah, that's all good stuff. I would like to be involved in that, but I am certainly not interested in becoming part of the masses who are trained to stand up, sit down, genuflect, turn left, turn right. I mean, in the ritual, I'm not interested in that. I'm not. I don't believe it's necessary for me, and I don't think anyone in our family feels it's necessary. But that's kind of how we live our lives. We really do. We work with our neighbors. We help our neighbors. They help us. There's no schedule. It's just we do it when we think of it, when we want to, when they want to, and it works very well. And I wish a lot more of us would get involved with our own families and talk with our own families. And
the spiritual part of it is not what you're doing, but how you're doing it. That is the moment.
There you go. When we come back, Rick, can we talk about these stealth airplanes and the shapes of them? And is that what makes them stealth? Is it the shape? And then what is microwave? What's the difference between, Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Something shocking just happened in a Coast Guard unit in San Diego. The old guys in the unit have turned the tables and are now destroying the young bucks in head-to-head fitness tests. How is this even possible? Turns out the old guys in this unit have been part of a special test group for a doctor-formulated fountain of youth drink called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens has been so effective for many of the older soldiers that it's made their achy joints, stiff muscles, and lack of energy a thing of the past. Previously, this drink was only available to elite military units. But for a limited time, the creator of Patriot Power Greens has set aside a small number of free sample packs specifically for our conservative friends. But you must act fast. Due to the high demand from members of the Coast Guard, our supply is extremely limited right now. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens75.com. That's greens75.com. greens75.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS? Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely. We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS. If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us. If you'd like to go to his website, docram.com, docram.com, docram.com. And Dr. Richard Allen Miller, these airplanes that have been developed to be more invisible to the electronics like radar, is it the shape of the planes that makes them more invisible, or is it the
it's all
type
of it.
of
There's
material?
the shape, the geometry of it, the material that it's made from. Certain things absorb and bend rather than reflect. That's the first thing that did it. Right now, a shapeshifter, a reticulin that looks like They Live, that movie, is done with liquid crystals and a holographic projection system. That's how it works. And we have that technology. And so...
Let's say
I'm
we
trying
wanted
to go somewhere with this. The whole thing is, if you can imagine how it could possibly work, of course it's going to work, and even more, because it's not the physics of the geometry, it's your imagination that makes it real.
Okay, so, we have a lot of hunters here, and they put on camouflage. Snipers put on ghillie suits so they blend in. There are materials to keep the heat signature down to a minimum. Let's say we wanted to do what the government does and we wanted to be invisible. Would we wear certain shapes? What would we do?
Low profile. In the old books of magic, it was called the spell of invisibility. For example, driving down the freeway, what the cop is going to look for. And they no longer have paranoia meters where they can measure on the Richter scale whether or not you've got something to hide. What they do is look at you like if you're 6 miles over the speed limit as opposed to 25 miles over the speed limit. There's your first idea toward low profile. Now, you and I are out there, and so we're pretty well on everybody's radar, including good, bad, and ugly. And so I do it because it's my only source of income. I've got to sell books or I'm screwed. And so I'm stuck in having to be out there. I would much rather, I'm just letting the world at large know, I'm bribable. I will take and put me on payroll. That's the way I'll put it. Put me on payroll. I would love to go up in the mountains and have a simple, uneventful, quiet life. I would really love to do that. What my passion is not talking about it, it's writing. It's all profiling. And now they have software so accurate that can predict a crime in New York City 28 minutes before it happens. You don't think they're not going to use that? They want to know what you're going to do before you do. That's how you got that little red dot on your mailbox. It's like today there is a distinction between artificial intelligence and human beings. And the two have merged to such an extent today that the artificial intelligence has an edge on you. However, once you tap in to instinct, now it is what, and I'm gonna shock everybody by quoting Aleister Crowley, none shall say nay. When you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, the universe, including NSA, want you to do that. And they don't know that, and that's the edge and distinctional difference between intent and purpose. The two are at the same at our level of awareness, and as you aspire toward yourself, going internal, a machine can't do that. By definition, that's where your salvation lies. That's how they did it in Minority Report. That's how it's going to play. If you want to know how it's going to work, follow Hollywood. The fifth wave is when they gave you, the children, special goggles to see who an alien was as opposed to not. And guess what? It was just the opposite. And at some point, the children figured it out. That's Hollywood. And then the aliens are marching up a ramp, not down a ramp, into their craft with their tails between their legs, having to go back home. That's the happy ending, good feel-good of Hollywood. But let me tell you, the whole thing has to do with attitude and your own relationship to yourself. And if
Take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Don't know what's in your drinking water? Better get a ProPure. With the Pro 1G 2.0 all-in-one filter, remove over 200 contaminants, including fluoride and lead. Taste water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure water filtration products. There's a ProPure system for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details on our current free shipping special or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPuruSA.com.
Biochemistry determines your mood, memory, energy, and endurance. Your body's primary metabolic function is to make protein. One World Whey is a unique, non-denatured protein. This enables your body to have virtually 100% utilization, whereas typical whey protein powders offer no more than 18% utilization of protein. One World Whey also delivers life-giving frequencies to your cells. The net result for so many people is improved energy, mood, and elimination of pain from inflammation.
This technologically enhanced One World Whey has been really amazing for me. I'm 36 years old, and for the past several years, I've been struggling with lack of energy, drive, and stamina. And after just 2 weeks on this product, I'm feeling so much more energy. My yoga practice has deepened, and as a massage therapist, I'm able to see more clients than I've been able to in years. I've never felt results that quick with anything I've ever taken.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld.com.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
Destroy harmful bacteria, allergens, bedbugs, dust mites, fleas in your home with the Ladybug Steam Vapor System. The Ladybug dies deep on surfaces without any toxic residue. Traditional control agents contain toxic chemicals which do more harm than good. Sanitize and disinfect using just water. Quick, fast, and surprisingly easy.
Find out more now by calling 800-997-6584. Ask for Randy. That's 800-997-6584. Or go to advap.com/GCN. That's advap.com/GCN.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
Dr. Richard Allen Miller is with us. And Rick, if someone would like to peruse the selection of books that you've written and buy some, where would they go?
Well, it's easy. My website has a book, all my books. It takes you right directly to my website. So does Doc Brown. If you go up and look at the store, I have a store where you can go to. That's my website. Go get them. I hate Amazon. I like just PayPal. I love GoFundMe. My GoFundMe account, that helped. Because that's how I put out workbook number 2. The funding, I am putting out 2 more encyclopedias, and the one I'm working on today is called The Small Family Farm for the 21st Century. And do you know something? No matter what else happens, good, bad, or ugly, with the U.S. government, we now need 20 to 30 million new small family farms this year. That's what I'm trying to talk about, and what to do regionally. Each region and habitat is different. Missouri is different than Sandpoint, Idaho. And you have different realities, different kinds of crops, and habitat. And what I'm trying to do is put business plans together where you no longer sell raw material like your beef. What you do is you butcher your beef and sell it as jerky from the Finelli farms. And listen, it's about adding value, because right now what everybody has to sell is labor, not raw material like your wheat or whatever, which is called storable commodities. What you're looking for is value added, where you make something unique in a vertical integration thing before it leaves the farm gate, and now you have something to barter. And you can do that in a much closer market like the town next door rather than the city and 3 states away with your herbal salve.
That was, we talked about, cooking slowly, eating meals together, and we've had many discussions about exactly what you're talking about here at the farm, and that is one of our children has studied agriculture. I spent 4 years at the university studying how to be a farmer, and he decided that he wants to do several things. One is grow mushrooms and sell them on the internet.
Mushrooms, not just pharmaceutical. Mm-hmm. For food.
That. Mm-hmm. And also he wants to make the world's finest beef jerky.
Oh, by the way, if he wants to do psychedelic, I'd be happy to show him how to do that also. Well, they are going to be needed. And let me tell you, psychedelic mushrooms are, I don't do them anymore. I've had enough psychotic episodes for one life. But half the people that came to my workshop were still interested in things like ayahuasca. They were interested in psychedelic mushrooms because they're not as invasive and they open up the mind. Now, what they really do is they actually are toxins to the body, and the body freaks out and then produces its own look-alike chemistry, and your psychedelic experience is from your own body chemistry. And what it's basically doing is jump-starting your own production in your body to function as a normal human being. That's why they call it shamanism. And the seekers today that don't want to do it in religion are trying to do it with ayahuasca experiences, is taking their risk in their hands, because shortcuts like that always have risk.
Rick, since we're going down this path, can you address? Here's what I'm thinking. Well, I'm thinking about secret societies. I'm thinking about the connection, and I'm thinking about George W. Bush. He was asked, so you're a member of Skull and Bones, and that's a secret society, and so tell us about it. And he said something like this: well, if I told you about it, it wouldn't be a secret. Let me just share this with the class. Now, I don't think I've ever mentioned this. This is about me. I went to the university, and I was the president of, at the time, one of the largest international fraternities in the world. And I was I was inducted at the National Conclave, which is every 4 years, in front of 4,000 or more members of the fraternity. I was inducted in this very large, lavish ceremony, and there were only maybe 2 or 3 of us being inducted at this ceremony. I mean, it wasn't like there was a graduation of high school or college. It was just a couple of us, literally on stage. And so I was inducted by the Grand Master, if you will, of the fraternity.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually the title is Grand Preparedness, Prytanis. Yeah. And he was in the ceremonial robes, and it was quite an elaborate ceremony. Here's why I'm telling everyone this. And I also was educated by the Jesuits. And in neither of those organizations, the International Fraternity, nor being taught by the Jesuits, was I selected for anything special. I wasn't. I think they said, this guy, he's just not going to work out. Let's not waste any more time, effort, money, and on Finelli. What is it about these organizations that is so secretive? Can you share anything? I mean, you're a member of.
Okay, so let's start with Dr. Strange when he's battling Dormammu, the elder gods that have been banished from our universe that are trying to come back in. Okay, and Dr. Strange discovers that the quote, the power is in the secret, and the secret is the power. There, that's a good one to meditate. Now, I'm going to give you the Masonic secret. This is the big one. This is the secret of all secrets. The thought that occurs at the moment of climax happens. That's your tantric yoga. That's your whole thing about the mass of the Holy Ghost and sex magic. That's because it is about passion. And passion is what takes you into sacred over the profane and punctuates the water inside your body and structures it as internal landscape. And the more you get into what you're doing, like I am right this minute, you get it. And once you've got it in your mind's eye, that's what makes it real. Not my explanation of it. Imagination is reality. And that's the first of several keys on how to change the movie. Get caught up in what you're doing. Just be inflamed. That's a good word, being inflamed. That's a Crowley word. And if you do that, you are now closer to your purpose than intent. They cannot predict that machine-wise. And now, the universe, none shall say nay. You are here to do your purpose, not intent. Intent is what actually happens in the physical world and why we are no whining, kicking and screaming, creating karma, rather than the flow. That's a good word, the flow, where you're in the groove. Everything comes to you. That is when you know you're closer to purpose over intent. And synchronicity of why you find something significant over the 5 other things vying for your attention is how your future is talking to your present and changing the experience of what actually happened in your past. And that has to do with a thought that you have impregnated into the universe and how psyche is brought into matter. Physical world is a reflection of what's going on inside your mind. If it's a nightmare, well, there it is. Read it and wait and change.
So, Rick, as I'm listening to this, would you say that those who are really passionate about their purpose, they are the most dangerous people to the status quo?
Well, or the most dangerous to the status quo, yeah. That's why they try to shut you down. They don't want to. They try to distract you so that you don't notice your passion, you slide over. That's the whole word of the Passion of Christ. There's your Essene philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they called it his passion. That's where it all lies, in the moment. And whatever you're doing, go for it, because that's what changes the universe. And now, the very fact that I've got that means that mankind itself is saved, because I'm part of the collective unconscious, and if I've got it, it means you will eventually get it. Unfortunately, if you don't get it very soon, I have to sit around waiting for you to get it, because that's the only way I get out of here. We all are on the same boat as humanity in an archetypal level of awareness. And that means that my knowledge base isn't more unique than anybody else's. I am simply, like Joey, a lead scout getting it. And the basic thing is, it's not about the goal. It's about the journey getting there.
Okay,
That's where the quality of everything lies, the journey of it.
As you mentioned the journey, I was thinking about standing in the driveway in Virginia, and there's a Roman Catholic priest who came to visit us. And I said, Father Bob, do you think it's possible that God is an alien and, he put us here and said, okay, here you go. I'm going to show you some of the things that you need to know, and the rest you're going to have to figure out for yourself. I'm going to check on you, see how you do, and later on. And he said, wow. We'll talk about that when we come back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
You haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your Youngevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your Longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Something shocking just happened in a Coast Guard unit in San Diego. The old guys in the unit have turned the tables and are now destroying the young bucks in head-to-head fitness tests. How is this even possible? Turns out the old guys in this unit have been part of a special test group for a doctor-formulated fountain of youth drink called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens has been so effective for many of the older soldiers that it's made their achy joints, stiff muscles, and lack of energy a thing of the past. Previously, this drink was only available to elite military units. But for a limited time, the creator of Patriot Power Greens has set aside a small number of free sample packs specifically for our conservative friends. But you must act fast. Due to the high demand from members of the Coast Guard, our supply is extremely limited right now. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens75.com. That's greens75.com. greens75.com.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
Plus, if you'd like to get to Dr. Richard Allen Miller's website, you can go to richardallenmiller.com, Richard, A-L-A-N, Miller.com. Or you can go to docram.com. Yes, Rick.
Thank you, Vincent.
Rick, I've noticed that those who are passionate tend to be leaders and innovators, locally and globally. Literally, those who are passionate, and it seems like you can't pay for people to be passionate. Either they're passionate about what they're doing and they want to do it and they love it and they just can't get enough of it, or they're employees. What do you think?
That's because passion has nothing to do with money or return of compensation or reward. It is in itself its own reward, and everybody knows that. Why do we not follow our passion more? Christ did. Mm-hmm. And he did that in what Jehovah's Witnesses called witnessing, where he walked his talk. And just because we walk different talks, that part is why we're human, not God, and it's God's will. And that's why you don't make judgment just because somebody is doing it differently than you. That part is ego trying to confirm that what you do is right, and so they're wrong, and I get to go to heaven and you don't. It doesn't work like that. In fact, that's the part where heaven is most likely going to forgive you.
Is there a relationship between, you're talking about passion, some Roman Catholics joined the Knights of Columbus. Is there a relationship?
Listen, man, the Church of Rome departed from the teachings of Christ in the year 1000. And that was with Pope Innocent I. You can read about it from a scholarly text written called Holy Blood, Holy Grail. It runs it down chapter and verse on what the Knights of the Temple are and a Prince of Jerusalem. By the way, that is my grade in the Blue Lodge I belong to. I am a Knight of the Temple, and I am a Prince of Jerusalem. And I am proud of my belief systems attempting to be used as tools to get closer to God. That's what church is really about and why you go to church. You want to get closer to God and give him honor. Now, churches are primarily for fellowship. And the way, as George Carlin always put it, God has everything, but he needs more money. That is not God talking anymore, man. That's the Pope who is going to talk to God for you. How does that work?
Well, Rick, I don't think I need a broker, do you?
No, it's not. That is what made you God's favorite. You don't need a broker. And that means there are as many different churches, most likely, as there are human beings on this earth. And what we try to do is enhance certain values over what other values we would call demons, like jealousy, rage, greed. You know, those are your demons. They're qualities in men that are deemed unworthy. That is what a demon is. And the devil is you polarizing God with your creepy, distorted values. God's not at war with anything. And so with that said, what is the devil?
Class, if you'd like to find out more about Dr. Richard Allen Miller, if you're new to this class, docram.com, docram.com, or richardallenmiller.com, richardallenmiller.com. Dr. Richard Allen Miller, thanks so much for being with us today and sharing your insights, opinions, and knowledge. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all.